And we are live.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so we are live here today about this is our Meet the Bold Voices of Audacity 2025 series, and we are going live between 12 and 1 Eastern on a daily basis leading up to the summit. And this Audacity 2025 is our third annual virtual Women's Empowerment Summit happening this Friday on the 14th of February. So we are super excited about this, and we have such amazing and beautiful women speaking at the summit. And on these live sessions, we have different women joining us, and today it's Rainbow Mosho. And we want you to meet who's going to be speaking and sharing their story at the summit on Friday. So we will also have JBR joining us in a little bit, but for now we have Rainbow here, and we're really excited for you to meet her. And Rainbow, you are joining us at the summit on Friday, and we'll be sharing a little bit about your story. Uh, so I'd love to hear a little bit about you, and I know you're sharing a little bit about your journey in Web3. You're also sharing about your book, The Rogue Kingdom, I think. And so you can maybe give people a little bit of a sneak peek of what you'll be talking about and what's important to you and who you are. So, yes.
Thanks for welcoming me into the live. Those of you who are listening and may not know who I am, my name is Rainbow Macho. I am a teenage artist, author, entrepreneur, advocate, and more on the autism spectrum. And I'm very happy and grateful to be a young creator in Web3 because what it means to me that Web3 has given me so many wonderful opportunities, such as traveling to places and talking about art, meeting up with all kinds of artists and people who are willing to accept and welcome me for who I am. And even though I am doing things that school doesn't provide for me because of how narrow minded they are, I am grateful that I'm building my own future and my own life because anything can happen if I put my mind into it and if I work with the right people.
Yeah, 100%.
That's great.
100%. Yeah. And I love that you've had so many positive experiences in Web3, and like you say it so nicely, that sort of your who you are and your uniqueness is celebrated in Web3.
Mm.
That is true. No one of us is the same, and some things are challenging because the technology is very different and can be a bit confusing along with interacting with great creators. But I learned the best from them, from creators like Audacity, Moon Mars Museum, Women in Tech, and One Love Art. And I have exciting news to announce with Moon Mars Museum. In a couple of days from now, my art is gonna land on the moon
Wow.
because my art, along with the art of other artists, has been launched in a rocket a couple of days ago, and in a couple of days is going to land on the moon. And I am in 3 weeks. I'm so excited that something so wonderful is happening, and I'm really grateful to be a part of it.
Oh, that's
Hey
so
mom, can I
exciting.
talk about? Hey mom, is it okay if I talk about additional details about the event of my art being launched to the moon?
Well, let's. You have other things that you on Friday. You can maybe talk a little bit more about that. But right now, I think either Nathaniel or Stephanie had a question
Oh,
for you.
yes. What's your question?
All good. Actually, I wanted to know a little bit more. Do you know the exact day that the rocket is landing
Mm,
on the moon, or is it
honestly, I don't know which day it's going to land on the moon, but I know it's going to land in 3 weeks. In
okay?
about 3 weeks.
Wow.
Okay. It's such a cool project. So your art is actually on the rocket.
Yeah, it's orbiting Earth and it's gonna land on the moon.
That's epic.
So cool.
That's so cool. Who can say their art is gonna land on the moon? That is like super unique.
Mhm.
So cool. I love it. I love it. And do you want to mention a little bit something about your book, like the Rogue Kingdom? I think it's such an amazing project that
Yeah.
you're doing with different artists and people your age as well, like teenagers, right? As well. And we'd love to know a little more about that.
Yeah, it's really exciting because the Rogue Kingdom originally originated from my idea of female empowerment and ending stereotypes, stigmas, gaps, norms, and inequalities based around gender. And basically, my stories are about giving females empowerment and the respect they truly deserve. And Web3 guides and also representing of Web3 for teens, the STEAM-based activities. More than 100 artists in the book and Times Square are more. Sorry, the way.
Yes, and more than 100 artists that are going to be included in the book.
Yes, their art is also included in Times Square. Remember that?
Yes, we're working on that, and you're looking for funding for that.
Yeah, that's true. And we're also looking for funding to create a Roblox game. The reason why is because I really want my art to be represented on in a variety of formats so that people can connect and have fun with my game while also having guides to Web3 technology.
Okay, yes. I love that. That's super creative. Yeah.
I also sorry,
Yeah,
were you saying
go ahead.
something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I also want to say that anyone can join Web3 because this has meaning, because this is meaningful and can help educate people. And there are no limits. Teens should join with parents and learn together because the future is Web3, AI, and the blockchain along with crypto. And I am and we are all audacious and rogue because we have the right to go beyond the limit and we deserve to respect ourselves, represent ourselves for who we truly are and give out love to the world while loving ourselves.
Mm,
Very powerful message. I like that.
very,
Hmm.
very.
I have a question for you, Rainbow. So, what do you feel like if you were to speak to another teen and they were unsure about taking the similar path that you're on? What kind of words of encouragement would you have for them?
My words of encouragement would be, it's okay to struggle sometimes, but you shouldn't let the negative control you, even though it's okay to embrace it sometimes. And if anyone or anything is going to tell you no, change yourself, or stop doing what you love the most, make sure to ignore those people because they don't understand, because haters are going to hate. And if you feel unsure about something, make sure to reach out to people who you can trust and are willing to support you, such as family members, friends, or members of a community, because being yourself and doing what you love the most is more important than anything, while helping give inspiration and courage to others.
Mm.
I think that probably sums up the whole mission of Audacity right there. I think you just captured it. And I think that message resonates not just for teens, for all women that are struggling with self-doubt, wanting to put themselves out there, that, they're not.
Yeah, and also not just women and teens, along with children who are struggling to put themselves out there and to be who they truly are, but many people, because even as kids, sometimes we are told to just give up on our wildest fantasies and grow up to what society expects us to be. And even as we grow up as adults, we seem to forget that because we have been told no so many times and to change ourselves for who we truly are. But what's important is that we keep part of our childhood self in us and be who we truly are. And we cannot let anyone or anything tell us otherwise.
Amazing.
Absolutely. How do you deal with days where maybe, you don't feel as inspired or creative? Do you give yourself a break? Do you allow yourself to feel that way? Or do you have certain tools to sort of get inspired again and feel more creative again? Like, how do you deal with these moments or days?
Well, the way I deal with these moments or days is that sometimes I don't feel like being creative, or I feel like I could just slack off, but my mom helps me push myself to the limit. And also, sometimes when I think really hard of something wonderful I want to create, I sometimes have a hard time struggling of what I want to create because I'm not flawless. I have struggles. And but I make sure to combine those flaws into something that's meaningful to represent magic and audacity, because that's what's needed.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. I also think it's so special that, you share some of your struggles and day-to-day experiences and, little things that are part of your journey through reels on Insta, for example. Um, like I was listening to the other day to one of you sharing, that moment at school that happened. I think it was in an art class where, they had to do a search and sort of being faced with this
Yeah.
unexpected moment, and the way you were able to sort of calm yourself and go through it and not panic, and just sharing those day-to-day moments, I think, is also very, very powerful.
Yeah, that happened. I felt uneasy, but luckily nothing intense happened and I managed to control my
Mm,
emotions.
that's huge.
I'm curious, Rainbow, what do the people at school think about your projects and what you're working on? Are they supportive? Are they curious? Are they judgmental? What has that been like for you?
Well, honestly, the teachers, school staff, and administrators, along with the principal, don't support me. It's just, pardon my language, but it's pure shit. I mean, they they pretend to even care about what I'm doing. And the thing about Moon Mars Museum of my art going to the moon, the pieces of art we did for the contest was AI. And one day my school made a post congratulating me, but the next day I was told that they were taking down the post because, number one, my art, I used AI for my art. Number two, I used the program that was offered outside of school. And number three, the school didn't want to support things like AI.
Mhm.
So it's such a bummer. And honestly, I was a bit pissed off because every time I represent my art, every time I do something amazing beyond school and try to represent my art or announce art, they just shrug it off.
That's tough. But that
Yeah.
must be
Fortunately, my friends in school are really supportive of me,
Okay.
despite the despite the hate comments. Despite the hate comments my mom and I sometimes receive online, I keep on doing what's needed. I mean, I don't always use AI. I mostly do watercolors, spray paints, acrylic paints, and drip paints. And if we're gonna use technology for good things, I'm also hoping that we can look forward to using technology in ways that is sustainable and safe for the planet. And that's something I bet humanity's working on.
Yeah. Ah,
Ooh,
This is Thanks. This is kind of a work in
I
I
love
progress.
love
that.
that. Yeah. Really cool.
Feels like summer. Makes me want to
Thank
go
you.
go go to the beach, go somewhere warm.
Yeah.
So good. And I think through your work as well, you've made so many new connections and new friends as well. Like maybe not, you might not see them on a daily basis, but I think even just through the Rogue Kingdom, those 100 different artists, it must feel amazing to have those connections and new friendships.
Yeah. I have made friends such as Teresa, Varvara Alay, Vans, and Anastasia, along with so much
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Can you answer? I'm just gonna here spring up. I think Rainbow should comment on the fact that the cover or her book is being created by who?
Varvara Alay.
And who is Barbara?
Varvara is this wonderful Russian artist. Wait, is that?
Flower Girl.
And she does amazing art, pieces of art. Hey, mom, can you?
Green one, yes, but yes, she's the creator of the Flower Girls NFT project.
Yeah, she is, and she's made wonderful pieces of art. And whenever I see something that is her art, even before someone telling me that it is Varvara, I just instinctively have a feeling that it is her. And this is one of her pieces of art that she gifted me.
Wow, beautiful.
Beautiful.
I call this one Sapphire Curiosity.
It's very nice.
And look closely at the
Mhm.
detail.
Yes.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
And she's Barbara. Barbara believes in our youth, and she
Real supporter.
yes, and she has invested thousands of dollars buying art from young creators. And through it's been already 3 years, and we have built a relationship with Barbara. And in this process, as time goes, communicating with her, and she said, whatever may be happening with Rainbow's book, let me know. I can help. I have experience in book publishing and all of that. So we asked her if she could create the book covers with Rainbow's art, but with her magical touch in terms of graphic design and all of that. She created this awesome font that is going to be used throughout the book, and the main page.
Oh yeah, the font I made.
Yeah, but that was your signature. Yes, that was your signature. But she also created the main page for the Web3 guide. So there's going to be that extra element, Again, the purpose of the book, The Rogue Kingdom, including many of these individuals who are doing great things in Web3, crypto, blockchain, AI, and including them and being a part of the Rogue Kingdom and empower and let other teens know, hey, look, these are some individuals that have been a part of Rainbow's path. You can also do this if you like to. And in many different ways. If you're not an artist, there are other ways that you can become involved, and the main priority being about talking, the concept of safety, safeguarding your well-being, and learning to interact as a teen with individuals who will respect you as who you are and who will help keep you safe. Because as there are there's a lot of negativity, a lot of spaces that are not wholesome. So in my case, I've made sure my daughter has not had access to that. And yet we found Audacity, you've welcomed, embraced her. And it's such an honor for Rainbow to be a part of this whole process, and seeing her grow and develop her skills and learn, that there's a lot beyond what may happen in real life.
Amazing.
Yeah, so true. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Are you still looking for sponsors for the book?
Oh yes, we are. We're happy with all the support we're getting. And it's always great to have a little bit more support within the community and beyond that.
Yeah, exactly.
Any more questions?
Stephanie?
Now we're all set. We don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're a busy girl. We're excited to hear from, more about you and your story on Friday.
Yeah.
Thanks. Honestly, art is not the only thing I'm doing. I'm going to start doing more volunteer work for the Nashville Humane Society. And I'm so happy to be looking forward to take care of the animals who are in need of permanent homes. And I'm very excited for helping out with dog care. But if they also need me for the cat care, I'm also happy to help with that. So, Mom, what do you think of all the opportunities that I'm being given?
I am very glad. Here I am helping you. We're knocking on doors, looking for a variety of experiences that, as we know, the school system does not provide. But there's a huge world out there that wants you to be a part of it. And in this case, I've realized, I understand that I am the one who needs to go there, knock on those doors, and then you come into this wonderful spot, wonderful place where you can be yourself, share, grow, build, and learn about so many prospects, that can build your future and that can build your financial well-being, as well as building independence and you being a contributor to the artist economy, a contributor to our world, and above all, our humanity.
Amazing.
Yeah,
What a great message.
absolutely. So beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. This was wonderful, and we're excited to see you again on Friday.
I cannot wait. Call me. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye. See you
Bye.
Friday.
See you Friday. So good. Awesome. So for everybody who's tuning in just now or has been tuning in, we are here, Stephanie and myself, talking a little bit about the upcoming summit, Women's Empowerment Summit, Virtual Women's Empowerment Summit. You can either join in virtually or via Zoom. You will be provided with both links, and this is happening this Friday on the 14th of February from CET would be 3 p.m. until midnight, and Eastern is 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. So it's a full day, 9-hour, fully packed program.
Mhm. I keep saying 9 to 5. I forgot we extended it by an hour. We have
An hour.
a very full day, but there will be
Very
a
full day.
break in the middle where if you want to grab some lunch or some dinner, depending upon where you are in the world, you can do that. And there's actual, there are different things that you can explore during that time, but there won't be any speakers. So you won't be missing out on a talk, but you can, grab yourself something to eat and check out the galleries, check out the different things that we have available during that break time.
Exactly.
It's going to be a full day.
Yeah, exactly. And so what we're doing here with with the series here, Meet the Bold Voices of Audacity 2025, is introducing to you the different speakers we have on speaking on Friday. It's women from all over the world, different backgrounds, and it's really I love that it has spiritual aspects, it has artistic aspects. There is, AI and crypto is part of it as well. So it's a very broad and diverse sort of array of talks. I love it. It's such a great combination. And so what we're doing here is talking about the different speakers and their topics. And we just had Rainbow Mosho join us just now to share a little bit about herself and her journey and her talk on Friday. And we will be joined by JBR in just a few minutes as well. And she has a special session called the Spotlight session where she will be interviewing.
So she's backstage right now. I was going to bring her
Oh,
in.
awesome. Yes, let's do that. That's
All right,
brilliant.
let's get JBR here.
Yay.
Hello.
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 Thanks
Hello.
for joining us. This is
Thanks for having
awesome.
me. Wonderful to see you, ladies.
Good to see
Yay.
you.
So good. We were just with Rainbow and we're talking a little bit. And now we're really excited to have you and chat a little bit about your session on Friday. And it's going to be a very special interview, a very special conversation that you're having with Magdalene. So maybe just to sort of get started a little bit, would you like to share maybe a little bit about yourself and what you do, who you are, and then sort of give us an introduction to the conversation that you're leading on Friday. It's a very special one.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies, for inviting me to do this. I'm always so completely awestruck by the two of you. So so thank you. I know how much work it is to do this. So okay. enough. I'm centering. I'm trying to center myself. I don't know if you can tell. I center myself by acknowledging you first. So
Awesome.
with that, I'm JBR of JBR Visuals, and I'm proud to say that I am an advocate for domestic violence awareness. I am an artist and an audiovisual AI film maker. On Friday, February 14th, 2025 at 4 p.m., I will have the honor and privilege to speak with Magdalene Dede, who is the Public Relations Advisor for SamukaAfrica.org and co-creator, curator of the 34 Gallery Initiative. The 34 Gallery is a groundbreaking initiative that merges art with activism, which directly impacts children in war zones, artists, and global mental health awareness as part of the United Nations 2030 Agenda. We will be discussing how the 34 Gallery empowers artists, supports Africa's children, and aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals, particularly in mental health advocacy, volunteer action, and the challenges of securing global funding for women and children. So the title of the talk is Art in the Face of Darkness, Creating Golden Ages. Okay. So imagine a child in a war zone, hunched over a paper scrap with no shoes on, sitting in dirt, partially clothed, sketching their world or their imagination with a pencil, if that's available. Just try to imagine that. Now, now, if you can't imagine an entire initiative built to protect that one act of creation, that one little sketch, turning it into a means of survival, this is a global statement, right? This is mental health in darkness where light finds a way. And that's what the 34 Gallery Initiative does. That's what SamukaAfrica.org fights for. And that's why we're here today to talk about this, that we are going to be talking about on a week from today, or I'm sorry, Friday.
Yeah, actually, yeah, 5 days from
Mhm.
today.
Yeah,
Just around
absolutely.
the corner. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I
How
guess
did you, I'm curious, how did you get in touch with Magdalene or, the 34 gallery? How did you get a cross paths?
oh wow, let's see. So I answered a call to artists in a hug call about, oh wow, what was that? A year and a half ago. And
Okay.
a little selection called Hair was awarded gosh, a lot of praise. And I think that it exemplified a resemblance to perhaps what was happening at that time. And that was that there needed to be more of an awareness to, and still needs to be more of an awareness to people of color. And I think that it really sort of hit home to a lot of the kids and how they related to that particular piece. And that was the beginning, or that was the start of the relationship between myself and Hug and the 34 Gallery. And since then, I've discovered that our missions statements and the way that we sort of work to bring an awareness through art really aligns. And I believe that that's what sort of brought me to them, and have continued to really fight for the 34 initiative, and hope that I can sort of continue to make the exterior pretty enough for people to actually listen and want to do something that is a little bit different than just showing up and maybe submitting artwork
Mhm.
to just an open call that may or may not have anything to do with anything.
Mhm.
Not that, and that's not to say that to just be an artist is cool to just be an artist, but I think to be an artist to have something that you actually care about and stand for is, for me, it's important. It's really important. So yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did a very special. Well, we're streaming. We are streaming part three of a longer conversation you had with Magdalene. Tomorrow we're streaming part three. I think it's a part three out of four. So the past few weeks we've launched part one and part two, and it's I think it's probably an extended version of what you'll be talking about on Friday. And is is it yes, is your conversation with her on Friday sort of based around it, or are you using coming from a different angle, different approach, different perspective?
So the conversation. I guess I could start with it's really the conversation started with the power of art in crisis, and
Hmm.
that's essentially what, if you think about the 34 Gallery and the SimukaAfrica.org and the United Nations, it sort of stands behind the meaning of artists create golden ages. So I never really realized the impact of that and what that stood for until I did this in deep dive uh,
Okay.
three-part or four-part series with Magdalene. And what that means is she brought up the phrase so eloquently in that series that she had profoundly scripted it that this is not a tagline, it's history. So if we take a look at the Renaissance, born from the ashes of plague and war, right? And then
Mm,
compare it to Harlem Renaissance, art thriving in the shadows of economic struggle, we could say what's currently happening is kids struggling to create a mindful diversion through artistic expression in a war zone where a crayon is harder to find than food. So
mm,
that's that was the where the 34 Gallery Initiative stepped in for the conversation. And then uh, 34 was created under SimukaAfrica.org. To me, that was always confusing. So what did that mean? So what that means is it's a part of the United Nations SDG 3.4 mental health initiative. It's an art-based mental health outreach for 85% of the world that has zero access to traditional mental health care. Imagine that, right? Zero access.
mm,
85% of the world. That means no therapy, no resource, no resources, just a will to survive. And so the 34 Gallery provides that global stage where artists, children, survivors, visionaries can express, heal, and be seen. Because art isn't just a luxury, it's a mental health necessity. So if you take that a step further, what does that mean in terms of uh, what is the struggles with the SimukaAfrica.org and the United Nations and the 34 Gallery? What is in need? So what's the deficit of supply? Um, so in the front lines of humanity's darkest battles, human trafficking, domestic violence, child exploitations, these are the realities most turn away from. The conversations that make people shift in their seat. I'm shifting in my seat right now. Clear their throats and change the subject. I know this discomfort so well that I had to have this conversation with her and make it into a four-part series that was just so intense. Why
mm,
is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why did I choose to do this? Well, on November 11th, 2024, the 34 Gallery asked me to write an article, something that was meaningful. So we published an article. That article is called 12. It is a 10-minute read on domestic violence, not as a statistic, but as a lived experience, a story that, when spoken aloud in polite company, it invites uneasy glances, restless hands, and a sudden interest to find the nearest exit.
Mm.
And yet, here we are, and here I was with Magdalene having that conversation. And
Mm.
I have to tell you, the series is not. It's not an easy feel good. It's not a feel good. It wasn't meant to be a feel good series to watch. Probably better to have it be a podcast and just listen to it at times. But here's the good news. The good news is it, it, going back into the deficit of basic supplies for kids.
Mm.
What are kids trying to create art with if there's no money or no art supplies and not a convenience store to walk to make a purchase? Young girls who can't attend school, let alone paint, but they because they don't have the access to sanitary products, right? Like imagine that kind of a world. So the 34 gallery is is the advocate. It's the gallery is creating a tangible lifeline for these kids to not just survive, but to have just a modicum of well-being, uh, just a modicum of being seen and heard. And having said all of this, the more awareness that we bring, this audacity that an artist to artist to artist, the more we engage and the more we talk about this, the more uncomfortable we get in our comfortable places, the bigger the impact, which is, I think that answers the why to
Mm.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very powerful and intense deep dive that you did with her, and that is streaming in 4 parts. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we didn't speak about politics because she, under her initiative and under the United Nations, is not allowed to talk
Okay.
about, talk about the United States and global contributions, but I can with you here, which is so wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'd love
Absolutely.
to, right? I mean, like, we're not going to sweep this under the rug. I mean, we're having the conversation, so why not talk
Absolutely.
about it? Um, so, just a little information in case none of you know this, or whomever is watching this. I hope we get just one person that's just going, ah, love this. Somebody's
Yeah.
telling the truth. Yeah. I want that. I want that one person. So reach out to me afterwards. Let's talk because we need to meet up. We need to advocate. So just so you know, to that one person out there that's watching, the United States politics recently played a huge, huge role in funding. um, that's not true. The United States is rolling back its global funding for,
Okay.
get this, women, children, and mental health initiatives,
All
right?
right.
The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 5 is all about gender equality, protecting women and children, and ensuring just basic human rights.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem. Political shifts in the United States are slashing funds for international programs. What does that mean? This means fewer resources for shelters, less money for trauma recovery. And for the 34 gallery, it means fewer opportunities to provide art kits, art kits,
Okay.
workshops, and access to international exhibitions, right?
Mm.
So the funding cuts, uh, they don't happen in a vacuum. Every time funding is reduced, we lose another chance to intervene in a crisis or to pull someone back from the edge. Imagine that, right? Just imagine this globally. We are affecting somebody who might be in a total crisis.
Mm.
So to turn trauma into transformation,
Mm.
I guess I suspect that somewhere along the line, down the line, there's hope. Now, for me, I'm such a skeptic. It is so difficult for me to believe that there is hope. But I
Mm.
truly believe that the work that the 34 Gallery, SimukaAfrica.org, and the United Nations, the trilogy, they are actually doing things. If you just take a look at their website and just to see what it is that they offer all of us, if we are creative, everybody from a creative, from a filmmaker, a dancer, a singer, a writer, an artist. There are so many different ways that we can get involved, and I really really believe that it just takes one. It only takes one person to make a difference, and I just hope that this is that difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I'm gonna sip coffee. But Mm.
I love your cup. It's just like Stephanie's. They're both so huge. It's the best.
So Stephanie, do you do 18 ounces? 18 ounce, 18
Yeah.
ounce,
Yep.
right?
Well, this is tea, but yeah. Yep.
I love that. It's my favorite.
I love that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was curious, do you know what African countries they reach out to or work with specifically? Is it in West Africa or which African countries?
Samuka is a region, right? So Zimbabwe,
Oh,
um,
Samuka is a region.
yeah. So it's and I'm sorry, I don't know all.
Okay.
To me,
Okay.
it's just I want to think that it's the whole, but
The
it's
whole of
not.
Africa. Well, Africa is
Probably not.
huge. There's
Yeah, it's
54
huge.
countries, so it's probably not the whole of Africa, but it must be a, like you're saying, a region
A
maybe.
region. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
definitely.
So
Definitely.
I'll look into it. I'm curious.
Yep, yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that so one of the things that is really cool, and this was developed by one of the artists that also responded to a hug call, who actually became, well, this is interesting. There is there was an Artist of the Year award, and I believe that 5 artists were the recipients of that award. And one of them is one of our girls, Chiroa. Chiroa was
Okay.
one of the Artists of the Year. Now, there's another artist, and I forget her name. Her name is mentioned in part 3 of the series with
Mhm.
this conversation with Magdalene. And what she did was she created uh, what's called, this program is called Letters to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And it's really quite lovely. It's a program where artists and writers can send messages of hope, solidarity, and connect to young creatives in Zimbabwe. Um, and these letters really matter, because these kids really look forward to receiving something that's tangible, opening it up, and being able to connect with somebody outside of their own situation.
Yeah.
Um, there's also um, a couple of other initiatives like Africa Giving. It's a grassroots initiative that provides direct donations to fund supplies, education, and safe spaces for kids in Samuka Africa's care.
Okay.
Um, it's so at times it's not always about money, but it's more of about momentum and
Mhm.
creating ways to connect to these folks in Africa,
Mhm.
uh, proving that despite the narrative of division, maybe
Mhm.
the global creative community is still here and still working to push forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's really interesting. I mean, if you can think it, you can create it, and that's
Mhm.
what this the 34 Gallery is all about. And
Mhm.
I think any artist that is interesting in doing something for the benefit of others, this is a really great way to lend a hand without, without making yourself so visible. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can just simply show up and I don't know, help out some way. Like maybe start a program where you, much like Mad Butter's Comfy UI developmental program. Maybe you can start that. Maybe if you want to teach kids how to work through Comfy, or how to use AI, or how to use a program through AI, or how to draw. I mean, there's so many ways that people can get involved with this. It's
Okay.
really, it's really wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
So if people want to know more and want to find out how to get involved or how to support, um, do they get in touch with you, or do they check out the simukaafrica.org website? What would sort of be the way forward?
You can. You can always reach out to me. I'm happy to help. That's what I'm here for. So you can always reach out to me on X, um, Instagram. You can direct message me off of my Linktree site.
Yeah.
Just send me a message. You can also just simply go to simukaafrica.org and hit the contact button, and they are very responsive. You should be able to reach out to Magdalene uh, right away. Like she's really responsive.
Okay.
Also, as an artist, for those artists that are interested in getting more involved and submitting their artworks, they can do that. There is a monthly call to artists. If you just simply go to the SamukaAfrica.org website and
Mhm.
go to artists calls, there's
Mhm.
a call every single month that is thematically elemented for the artist. And what's beautiful about that is if you've never done it before, do it now and watch what happens and see how organically your relationship with the 34 gallery grows. And I think that that's super important for artists, especially artists that are sort of like me, who are a little bit on the, oh, I don't generally want to talk to people all the time, and I really spend many hours, probably 8 hours a day, just being quiet.
Mhm.
Uh, I think that it's really important mental health wise to sort of reach out and step out of self to help out and to get involved, even when it's uncomfortable, to just reach out a little bit and do something a little bit different that it doesn't not necessarily uh, it's not necessarily making me involved in something that is monetarily exchangeable. It's more of a, just a gift, an
Mhm.
offering.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
I did add some links here in the chat for anyone that wants to take a look. The link to the open calls, the link to samukaafrica.org, and then also just links if you want to catch the whole 4-part series, our playlist on YouTube, as well as our bio site where you can follow along. So we've already aired 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of the 4. So there'll be 2 more being aired. So check it out. And we're also on we're on X. We stream on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, D Live. So kind of wherever you're at, you can find us and catch catch up on the talks that you haven't seen and the other 2 parts of the talks. And then obviously you're going to want to come to the summit so you can see the interview with JBR in conversation with Magdalene.
Yeah.
Right
Exactly.
on. Right
Yeah.
on.
Very much looking forward to that conversation.
Me
So happy.
too.
Yeah. So happy that it worked out and that you're both available. Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank
Me
you so
too.
much.
Me too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing Magdalene to, participate in this. I know it was last call.
Yeah. You were
but
right on time.
but it's such an important conversation, and I'm so happy that we can hopefully bring more eyeballs on
Yeah.
on the page. It's so important, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, JBR.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Wishing you a lovely Sunday.
You too. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a good Sunday.
See you Friday.
Bye.
Absolutely.
See you Friday.
Bye.
Yay. Awesome. All right. So we are wrapping up here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, this is our Meet the Bold Voices of Audacity 2025 for our third annual virtual Women's Empowerment Summit happening on Friday. Tickets are still available on our website, audacityhq.com. And we will be back here tomorrow, same time, chatting either with somebody or just running through and sharing some of the topics, introducing some of the speakers.
Yes.
So, yes. See
We'll
you
come
all
back
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Bye-bye.